Hello, EduFest family. Welcome back to our podcast. I'm so glad you are here. And thank you to everyone that watched the first episode on the Tier 2 visa. It was quite interesting to hear the comments and the words of encouragement. And that actually gave me the impetus to now think, okay, maybe we need to look at the second installment. So today we are looking at exploring the 60-day race. So I'm going to try and give you a step-by-step survival plan when your UK visa is curtailed. I'm John Yamda. Now, last time we talked about the inherent power balance and pitfalls of the Tier 2 visa. The response was quite overwhelming, as I said, and thank you to everyone. And today we want to try then to look at the what if. So what if it happens? What if the worst happens? What do I actually do? Right? And I want to believe that most of the content that I've been trying to look at, it just stops at the warning. But today I want to go slightly beyond the fear. I want us to tackle the single most terrifying scenario for a Tier 2 holder, right? That moment when that curtailment letter from Home Office arrives. Now, it's a moment of pure panic, but it doesn't have to be the end of your UK dream. Now, in this episode, I want to try and proffer a strategic survival guide for the 60-day race. We're calling it a 60-day race, by the way. So the problem isn't just you losing your job. It's the unique multi-layered crisis that follows, a state I would want to call the limbo protocol. This isn't a standard job hunt. It's a high-stakes game with three distinct crushing pressures operating simultaneously. Listen to this. Now, the first, you've got a legal countdown. And you know what that means. A 60-day curtailment notice isn't a guarantee, it's a variable. The official guidance states up to 60 days, and the clock only starts when the Home Office processes your paperwork, which can take weeks after your job ends. You are living in a state of legal ambiguity, unable to plan your timeline, and with no certainty at all. Then, secondly, you've got the financial siege. I think this is probably one that crushes most people. So you're immediately cut off from your primary income. You cannot claim most of UK funds, like universal credit. Your resources are finite and depleting daily, while you face the immense costs of a new visa application, including the immigration health surcharge, which can be thousands, and potential flight costs. So you've got all this plethora of costs, right? Now, third, the psychological black hole. This is probably something that I think a lot of us may not really realize the damage that it causes. This is the most underestimated layer. The experience triggers intense shame, isolation, and a crashing blow to your professional identity. You're forced to lie to networks, I'm just exploring new opportunities. You deal with the stigma of sudden unemployment and battle the paralysis of anxiety while needing to be at your most proactive. Think about it. How do you tell people that you have just lost your job? How do you tell people, your friends, your family, your network, that you're actually facing the fear of going to be chased out of the UK? So most people are actually crushed, not by one, but by the combination of all these three. And what I want to suggest today are solutions that might attempt to address this trifecta. Let's think in terms of actionable solutions. And I want to call this your 60-day survival framework. Now, you cannot just look for a job. You need a military-grade operational plan. Here is your framework, and I'm going to try and break it into phases. Let's start with the first phase. Now, please note that as we look at these phases, I'm not making them prescriptive, but these are suggestions that I think you can adopt And if it works for you, then all the best then. Okay? So the first phase is what I refer to as an emergency response and triage. This phase is about controlling the panic and securing your footing. Verify and formalize. That's the first thing you need to do. Do not rely on hearsay. Get the official confirmation of your employment termination in writing. And the email is fine. This is your start date for the potential 60-day clock. Inform your landlord of the situation professionally. They may be able and flexible enough to actually assist. Then you've got your financial lockdown. You are going to create a financial lockdown. So immediately enact a survival budget. Cut all non-essential subscriptions, memberships, and luxury spending. That's if you have luxury spending in the UK, right? So you're going to calculate, a runway number, total savings. Then you look at your monthly rentals, plus your food, plus your bills. And this number then becomes some sort of a reality check. And then also you need legal clarity and the switch check. This is a crucial point. Now, the curtailment letter, what you need to look at is you need to note it might not come for weeks. Don't wait for it to act. You need to start acting immediately. Now, I'm going to suggest what's called the switch gambit here. Now, this is a critical, often missed strategy. The question you're asking is, can you switch to a different visa route now? Right? You need to think about it. You need to research around it. You need to ask communities. You need to be in social platforms. Right? This could be people from your own country. This could be people from your own profession. This could be people from your own religion. Right? Even unions. Go into those platforms to try and find out, can I switch my visa? Okay. Now, one option for some people could be the Tier 4 visa, the student visa. Are you enrolled in, or can you quickly get accepted into a legitimate course? This can actually put a stop to the clock. Think about the global talent visa. Do you have an emerging leader or potential leader in academia? Right? Maybe research, maybe the arts, maybe tech. You start assembling your endorsement portfolio immediately. You could choose to go the spousal route if you've got a spouse or a partner. If you're in a genuine relationship with a British citizen or someone with a settled status, this is the time to formalize it. The requirements are significant, but it's a permanent solution. You may also need to consult an expert. Now, this obviously becomes a bit more complex depending on whether you've got the funds, because some lawyers will charge you £1,000 just to go in for consultations. But others offer you free consultations, and then they take your case. You've got the pro bono lawyers as well. So consult. Okay. The Citizenship Advisory Bureau is one area that you can go and seek information, right? If there is any chance that maybe you can actually contest your case, then maybe you need to discuss this with ACRES, because they can come in and assist you as well. All right. I hope that's making sense for now. Let's move on to phase 2. Now, phase 2 is the strategic job hunt blitz. Now, this is not, as we say, this is not a normal job hunt. It's a targeted extraction mission. It's almost like you're going in for the kill. You need to get this and get out, right? So how do we do this? Well, the first thing that you need to do is to reframe your narrative. So you are not a desperate job seeker whose visa was curtailed. Take note of that. You are a highly skilled professional in an urgent 60-day search window for a new Tier 2 sponsor. The change in the mindset is very important because it can actually dictate how you're going to be treated by the people that you're going to be communicating with. Practice that phrasing. Highly skilled professional in an urgent 60-day search window for a new Tier 2 sponsor. It's a professional, direct, and probably it actually filters your employers from those who are just fly-by-nights to those who are actually serious and confident enough to handle a speedy process. I hope you're following. Then think of the warm lead funnel. You need to abandon cold applications on job boards. Don't use that as your primary focus. Now you're thinking in terms of LinkedIn. So you need to leverage with brutal honesty. Post a clear, confident, and positive update. Do not sound pathetic. For example, due to unforeseen circumstances, my role at a company has ended, or my tier 2 visa provides a 60-day window to secure a new sponsor, right? Now, you will be stunned by the power of your network when you are very direct, but you need to know what you're looking for, and that is very important. Another key point, you need to start thinking about activating your community. Contact every professional contact, every friend, every alumni group. Be specific, right? Tell them you've got 60 days to find a new sponsor. Do you know anyone that can assist you in actually getting a licensed sponsor? Another key point which you also need to be thinking about is to target pre-licensed sponsors. Now, the UK government has a register of these licensed sponsors, but also you need to research companies in your field that are growing but might not yet be sponsors. You can approach them with a proposition, right? That, you know what, I'm looking for this type of work. I'm highly skilled. This is what I can do. Then I want you to then think in terms of phase 3. Now, phase 3 is now like when you're inching towards the 60-day terminal period. And I want to refer to this as, contingency and mindset, right? Contingency and mindset. It's very important to start thinking about managing your exit plan, right? You have to manage your exit plan. If day 50 arrives with no solid offer, it's time to execute your exit plan. This is not failure. It is actually strategic preservation. Book a flexible flight home if it allows it. Have this date set, or having this date set actually helps to remove layers of existential dread. You know, the fear of the unknown is worse than the fear of the actual. We tend to fear this unknown even worse than the way we fear being on the plane when we're leaving. So what is important, begin notifying your network of your potential departure. Now, this can also trigger, from an emotional kind of space, it can trigger a final desperate push from your contacts to try and assist. It's important to also systematically pack your life. I don't know how much you can sell in the UK. Most things, people are not going to really want to buy stuff, but non-essential stuff, you can begin to sell them or dispose of them, okay? This is important in closing the chapter cleanly and to make sure that at least psychologically, you're probably in a much better space. Now, there is the psychological war, all right? And here, I'm thinking you need to structure your days. Every day, you need to structure your day. Treat your job search like a 9-to-5 job. So think of it this way. Between 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock, you're applying and you're networking. Between 2 and 5 o'clock, try to learn a new skill or work on a personal project. I mean, think of it. You've got 60 days. And 4 hours of each day, you're able to learn a new skill. There are so many courses out there that are free that you can begin working on, which can actually act in your favor if you're going to pursue and look for a new profession. So it's also important because it helps you to maintain your sanity and professional edge as well, right? And then something else that's very important, reframe the outcome. Now, this experience, however painful, is actually a masterclass in resilience, in networking, and in navigating the UK immigration systems. So it should make you stronger. Whether you secure a job or you execute a managed exit, you are still in control. Remember, the UK is not the only path to a successful global career. The 60-day race is brutal, but it is a race. You can run with it. You can run with a plan. You're not powerless. You have a strategy. You have a community. you have your family, you have your friends, right? And you also have the intelligence to see it through. So, ladies and gentlemen, please share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Let's demystify the fear and let's replace it with a plan. Until next time, remember, your value is not defined by a visa stamp. Keep moving forward. God bless.